Okay, so one more time, good morning, students. So, just a minute. Try to list it in the actual one. So, in the last, we had seen this micro instruction format, right? My screen is visible, right? Can anyone reply? Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So this format we had already seen, that is micro instruction format. After that we have seen different table which we can specify as a set of micro operation in form of F1, F2 and F3. Okay. Further we had specified various condition of branching as well as various branching field. Next, label also specified, and we had also seen some basic symbolic micro operation in one block, right? Suppose we want to execute fetch. Now, same like this, here they've given one entire symbolic micro program, right? So, if in exam it can be asked like explain symbolic micro program. So, as per the marking, you need to write it down, right? If it is in 4 mark, then you can explain 2 3 blocks. If it is in 6 mark, then accordingly. So initially they have given some basic configuration, and after that they have started micro program of addition, right? And you might think like what is that? So this is nothing but you can consider as a subroutine. Okay, this is nothing but the subroutine. So subroutine is nothing but you can say you can assume some set of code line. So which code line is frequently used in your micro program, right? So whenever you are having a requirement, you can directly run that particular code from the subroutine. No need to import entire code offline in your control memory. You can simply fetch this line from here. So see, before starting with this aid instruction, we need to identify whether operation are having indirect address or not. So see, initially we are organizing on zeroth address. So in that case, as it is simply organization, will not having any other information. After that, we are executing no operation where we are just identifying whether it is having indirect address or not. So for that condition bit is I is active and in the branching field this call is active. So how you can identify this thing from here? I bit of condition bit, that means 0 1, that is nothing but indirect address bit active, and call is used whenever we need to identify some routine from our subroutine. Okay, so see here, call where identified, that means we need to execute some subroutine. So what is the name of that subroutine? Name of subroutine is indirect address. So see here, indirect address, right? Everyone, are you able to map this thing? So as they have specified to execute indirect bit, will directly move towards the here. Sorry, here. So in the indirect bit, what are the instructions set? See, one is transfer, one is read. So first one is the reading. So what we are reading? We are simply reading the memory. Yes, the memory where we had stored some set of addresses. After that, it will jump towards the next line. So in the next line, we are transferring data register to the address register. Now, why here directly we need to approach the data register? Because memory only communicate with the direct register. Okay. So first address we have stored in the direct register. So from that we are transferring towards the address register, right? So once we are done with this, we are having one address ready. Okay. So in that case, we are returning that particular address over here. And now we can start with the next line, that is read from the add instruction. Okay. So what we are reading from here, we are reading simply the address which we are able to get from this indirect address bit. So from that we are simply getting one empty addresses from where we can start execution. So now we are having address ready. So that address we need to map from the memory. So that is why we need to uh, execute this routine. So now we need to identify what is there in our fetch routine. So see this many lines. Just a minute. Okay. So see from this uh, read we are moving towards the next, and from that we are having this fetch. So now in fetch we need to organize our complete fetch block where we require some empty addresses on which we can execute this add. So for that we are starting process from that 64 address, and on that case we are loading one new address from the program counter. So as we had just started this process, we are not having address information, so that we are loading from the program counter to the address register. Okay, and after that we are moving towards the next instruction, that is this one. Now we are reading that particular address as well as we are incrementing program counter. So see, you might thought why immediately we need to increment the program counter, because see once we are done with one instruction, later we might need to load one new address, right? So for that we need to keep one ready program counter status on which we can load the new instruction. So we need to increment directly this increment program counter. Okay. And after that, this data register, I mean memory, we need to store in the address register, which will give some fixed set of bits on which we can execute our program. Okay. Fine. So finally, likewise, we are able to complete this entire addition block. Okay. Likewise, they have given some set of line to specify branch, to specify over, to specify store as well as exchange. Okay. So see in every case they have given some set of micro operation, some set of condition bits, some set of binary bits as well as some set of address register which you required. Okay. So if it is over, then you need to jump over there. If it is fetch, then again you need to jump over there and so on. So as per the requirement, you can specify some set of line. Okay. So see this question can be asked like explain symbolic micro operation with an micro program with an example. So definitely you need to write it down one example, because without example you cannot explain this microprogram, right? And in the second slide, they have also given the same microprogram but with its binary code. So I guess now this is easy. In the first line, we are having simply no operations. So in the no operation case, this F1, F2, F3 are 0, 0, 0. Here I bit is active. So with respect to I, we are having 0, 1. With respect to call, we are having 0, 1. So here you can mention 0, 1, 0, 1 and next address of our fetch. Sorry, of our indirect bit. So if indirect bit we need to start from 65, 66, 67, then the same address you need to approach over here and over here. Fine. So precisely specify this symbolic microprogram as well as this second slide. So this question can be asked like this. The binary microprogram for control memory, or you can say in the ROM. Right. Here we are using ROM as in control memory. So both question can be asked differently. So just verify one by one slide and let me ask in case of query. If we not select as all files, it will by default consider that dot n plus dot list. Related that dot maybe here it is. Okay. So if I will give one session, it will show that the output is one. Okay, now number of characters you have to count and number of lines. How we are how we are going to count the number of lines. So it might be used to this selection. I'm not sure, but I'm just giving you hint. And number of characters. So you have option /t with tab slash, and that means new line, that means one character would be there. Sorry, one word would be there as well as speed. These are the hints if you want to use. So it might be work, it might not. So try to implement it. Okay, now we need to. Okay, I have provided giving enough hints. Okay, yes, anyone done with this code?
Suppose we cannot run this program in that system, they just need to write this code first in a notepad and then try to resolve that act. Okay?
You verified this, right? Okay. The next topic is design of control unit. So see, till now we have seen what are the things requirement and what are the different modules are there in the control unit. Now, imagine this all information together, we are able to design one basic control unit, right? So we all are knowing like in control unit we are having mainly micro operations, and micro operation we had specified in three categories like F1, F2 and F3. Why we had categorized them in a different three tables? Because they are having different usage, and usage wise we had categorized them. So F1, F2 and F3, in every table we are having instruction, and each operation is having 3-bit data length, right? So with respect to 3-bit, we are able to set 2 raised to 3. That means total 8 instruction in each set. There it is F1, F2 or F3. So see here they've taken 3 decoders, each having size 3 crosses. That means you are able to take 3 input data and you are able to fetch total 8 micro operation. So those all micro operation, whenever there is a requirement, as per the requirement, we need to transfer. So see they have given some example for the same. Let's suppose in a F1 we have enabled arrow like 4, 5 and 6. So what is there in 4, 5 and 6? So for that you need to see like this. In the 4, they are transferring data register to the accumulator. Okay. In the 5, we are allocating address from the data register, and in the 6 also we are allocating new address to the address register. So here, see these two lines are used to simplify the address, whether it is from data register to the address in case of if it is not new instruction. And here we are transferring from PC to TR in case of it is one new instruction. So see, at a time only one address is enabled, right? So to fetch only one the arrow, we are using concept of multiplexer. So if this is one, then that will transfer to the address register. If this arrow is one, then from this we are transferring new address. Now here we are transferring data register to the accumulator. That means we are transferring some information of for operational bits so that we are allocating to the ALU. We all are remembered that one bit 001 having 8 instructions, so that also we can give to arithmetic and operation, logical operation we have specified in F2 table at a bit called 3. So that we can also give like this. And once computation is done, we are further transforming into the accumulator. Okay. So likewise, we are able to transfer data to the accumulator as per its requirement. So the diagram is clear. See, they have given specified various operations from this. You may specify other operation like from 2, from 3, from 7 by verifying that table list, right? But as we are going to transfer each and every operation of F2, F3 and F1, then our diagram might be more complex. So just to reduce this complexity, we are simply uh, using 3, 4 lines. Okay, fine. So you people are getting how we can able to generate one basic control unit.
Open your folder, compiler, design, lab, next to the computer. Next, validation. खाली तो नहीं है एक बार आउटका ओके एक काम करो फोन में फाइल क्लास डिलीट करो remove करना
Okay, so if there is no query, let's discuss the last diagram of this chapter. Okay, microprogram sequencer. Actually, see here they have given diagram in detail like this for this two selection line. They have given us this table, but that is fine. This diagram is not required to remember. You can directly remember this diagram, right? For these two arrows, they have clearly drawn the circuit, this pink color, okay? Fine. So first of all, what is the purpose behind this microprogram sequencer? See, in this chapter, if you guys can recall, in this microprogram control unit, we had verified measured two things. One is control memory and one is circuit which is responsible to generate the next address. So control memory we had learned. We had also seen what is the basic design using which we are able to identify the control memory. Right. Now after that, circuit which is used to select the next instruction, micro instruction, that is nothing but treated as a microprogram sequencer. Okay, so this is nothing but the circuit which is used to select the next address.
yes 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 it is helpful for me also.
Okay, fine. So let's see what are the things they have specified over here. Now see, they have used here total two multiplexer, MUX A, MUX 1 and MUX B. Now you might see some similar or you can say relevant things which we had already discussed earlier. Yes, here. See this multiplexer, this control address register, memory, incrementer, subroutine, this mapping logic. So see here the multiplexer one is nothing but it is used to select the address. So we all are knowing like address can be selected from external mapping, from this subroutine, from this incremental part, or you can say from this control memory itself where we have loaded one new address. So from here to the here, right? So there are total four ways using which we can select addresses, right? So that is the use of multiplexer number one. Now, what is the use of multiplexer number two? It is, see here, okay, I am talking for this multiplexer. It is used to test various value which is selected as an status bit with help of this condition information, okay, and the same value is tested over here in the multiplexer 2 and that we are giving to the this input logic, okay. So let's suppose this condition bit is equal to 1. So same information we are giving towards here and likewise here test bit is also 1 and that information we are giving towards here. So at this input logic we are having information from the test bit plus information from see this red arrow BR branch input, okay. So this is the next line. Okay, so at this input logic, we are having this two information, test value as well as branch input. So that will use to determine which type of operation that are available in this input unit. Okay, so with respect to this test bit and branch input, you are able to identify what are the types of um, types of operation are available. Okay. Now see it this case in this multiplexer 1,
Then,
we are having two selection line A0 and S1, but that we are getting combinedly from I0, I1 and T. So how we can identify which line is going to examine by S1 and S0? So for that they have used one formula that you need to remember. Okay, for that there is no any other logic. See it is simply if it is S1 line, so S1 is directly using the value get from the I1, that is this one I1. Okay, and S0 is used combination of this I1 I0 plus I1 dash and T, whatever value you are getting. And third, this L is nothing but the logic line that will select simply this line I1 dash into I0 and T. So see, BR field, branch field values are this one. We are also knowing different values of I1 and I0 like 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Right? So with respect to that, we are able to get values of S1, S0 and L using this three formulas, three combination. Okay? So that you need to remember. Right? So two multiplexer, in multiplexer number 1 we simply need to give various addresses. In multiplexer 2 we need to give input from conditional branching, and conditional branching will give one variable that is test, and the test will give to the input logic, where along with this test, we are getting input from this branch logic, right? And together, this both the things will give input to the multiplexer 1, okay? And when this logic values will directly load towards the subroutine in case if we need to enable the subroutine. Fine. Okay, so if it is a simply microprogram sequencer diagram, then you need to draw this diagram, and in case of detailed explanation you need to explain this figure as well as this input line. So just verify this diagram one more time. So any query in this diagram? Okay, so here we are done with this.
I'm waiting for your reply.
Yes, this diagram might remain to discuss. Actually, we had discussed in it little bit, but just for your understanding. So what is there? They see computer hardware configuration. And the computer major modules that are present that you can consider this thing. One is our main memory, one is our control memory. So two types of memory, right? Why we require two types of memory? Because main memory is used to store data related to our instruction, whereas control memory is used to store the micro program. Okay, so from here we are getting some instruction and that we are running with help of this control address register in this control memory. Okay, so see here 20 bits are required for the instruction and 128, that means 2 raised to 7. So 7 bit we require just to identify the address. Same way here, 16 bits are occupied for the main two instruction and 2048, that means 2 raised to 11. So 11 bits are the address and 4 bits we require for the opcode. So total is 16. Okay, and here we are knowing like F1, F2, F3, after that CD, after that BR, and 7 bit we occupied for the address, right? So with main memory, 4 register are associated like and 2 are with the control variable. Both are the two, one is subroutine, one is control address register. And with the main memory, we are having address register, program counter, data register, and accumulator. So as per the requirement, each and every block will be active and will transfer from one place to another. That's it. Very basic diagram. Fine. So ask in case of query, students. Otherwise, our chapter is handed over here. And yes, in next lecture, I will give you some set of questions which can be asked or formulate from this chapter. Make sure those questions are not like a IMP question, but I will give you possible number of questions from this entire chapter. Okay. So in next lecture, I will paste those questions within this PPT, right? Right now I am having those questions in hard copy. So I will paste those questions over here, right? So that is why I will give you those questions in the next lecture. So any query, please do ask students. Yes or no? Fine, then we'll keep up to this. Just okay, fine, good. Just write it down, your enrollment number in the chat box, everyone.
8 lakh.